we need to find out exactly what government is reacting to. Is government reacting to the issues in football? Because those issues have been there for long. And due to state failures, we haven't tried to address them. And then there's this other dimension to Kwesi Nyatakyi's representations on the tape, which has to do with how government functions, how the MPP government functions, how the president, the vice president, and certain ministers function. And I think he focused on the roads sector, roads ministry, and the minister and his deputy. I think that a proper management of this situation will require that all those should also be looked at. All those should be looked at. Even though he's come out with a statement trying very hard to distance himself from the presidency and from government and to deny having any kind of relationship with them that gives credibility to the things that he has said. But he said them already, and like has been said on this panel, at the time that he said them, he didn't know he was
being recorded.
He didn't know he was talking to some, person who is scamming him. And perhaps those representations reflected his genuine assessment of this government and how to do business with this government. Genuine assessment of this government and how to do business with this government. And if that is how people who are close to this government and have assessed them and have come to a conclusion that that is how they do business, then it is a very serious matter. Because clearly it is a matter that spreads from the president to the vice president to the ministers and etc. And that's something that we shouldn't overlook and just focus on trying to divert attention by shutting down GFA, by doing all these macho things, and so that all our attention will move to the referees and the GFA office and etc. But the same person whose conduct you are dealing with in one vein also says that this is how you are. So what are you doing about that one? What steps are you taking to deal with that aspect of what the person has said?
But the president, said in the same video that every assertion made in respect of him and his government was absolutely false. So he said he didn't know what he was talking about. Of course, he's known, Kwesi Nyatakyi, the vice president, says he's known him in official circles, but he's not really sat down with him to discuss any serious or personal issue. And so everything said about them was absolutely false.
Oh.
So they've denied that.
Oh, no. Denial is natural. The tape, many of the people on the tape are also already denying. Do you believe their denial? Some of the people who are caught red-handed taking money are on radio. Yesterday I heard about 2 or 3 people on radio all denying. Then we should believe their denials also. Why do we reject their denials and yet you want us to believe the denials of those in government? Yes. So that's why I'm saying that you don't just discount it and say there's no evidence. Why? This is the culture of awarding contracts. So let's now go and take government contracts that have been awarded under this government. Let's assess the values of those contracts. And let's see whether it is indeed true that in the road sector, pricing is done differently. Those are empirical mechanisms for institutions for dealing with those issues.
So you should strengthen institutions.
Investigating. In the US, when it was alleged that Russia got involved in their elections, what did they do?
But in this case,
they appointed an investigator to investigate to establish whether or not it is true that the Russians were involved. So that the public can be sure that that is how their government functions.
Yeah, but people will say these are just mere puffs. He was just boasting. There could be no element of truth in it. How do you investigate that?
Are you saying that the person making the statement has no connection whatsoever with the person who he says?
No, you could be my friend. Yes. I could go tell Franklin that this Ayari guy is just giving money. I will influence him. I may not come and give the money to you. So if somebody stands somewhere,
if he says that, and I am a public officer carrying out public responsibilities, the public will be interested in knowing whether it is true that that is how I am. So the basic thing that you do is carry out some investigation, like they are doing in the US. Carry out some basic investigation. Go and say, okay, now let's go to the roads ministry. Let's take all the contracts that were awarded. Let's do an assessment to see whether or not indeed the pricing reflects what the man has said is the practice at that ministry. Let's issue a report that says, no, we've done the assessment. We think that in the road sector, this is the formula for pricing, and so it is not the case that this is what is happening in Ghana. That thing is being played on BBC. There are contractors, at the international level who have been tendering to perform local contracts. You need to allay their fears that when they are tendering in Ghana, that they are given a fair opportunity to win those bids. You need to establish that. And he has said that, you are dealing with issues of international perception about the country, doing business reports and etc. You need to carry out some basic research investigation to be able to establish that, yes, what he said is true, or what he said, it is not true.